Hey, what's going on? Got my player 2 here.
Hi!
We just saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, which was absolutely amazing. What were your thoughts?
I don't think anyone will be able to hear us with this music, so we should probably wait to talk about it when we're far away from the music.
If that's what you want to call music. It's not in English, but anyway. So, what do we think of the movie?
I liked it. I thought it was very funny. It is exactly what I predicted was going to happen.
Yeah, but we can't tell them what you predicted.
No, I'm not telling them what I predicted, but I'm telling them that I was 100% correct. Everything I predicted was going to happen, happened.
But we don't know what she predicted. So, yeah. But I thoroughly enjoyed this movie, as did the player 2, aka Carla. Anyway, it was really good. So like I said, we just left the cinema at Cineworld, the multimedia screening. We were in the IMAX and it looked amazing, visually amazing, action scenes were amazing. But either way, we're gonna get home and I'm gonna do my review where it's a bit more in depth but still spoiler free. So I will see you guys later. Hey guys, in case you couldn't tell, I am dressed a little bit differently than I was in the previous clip. This is because I wanted to redo my review. It's still effectively fresh thoughts. I spoke to a couple people at work about what I thought of the movie, and I did forget some things that I did want to speak about in the previous review that I did record. So here goes the second review that I am doing. So first things first, did I like this movie? 100%, I did love this movie. Absolutely, it's amazing. I personally couldn't really see a direct fault with the movie. What did I like most about it? Definitely the action scenes are my favorite thing about this movie. The way they used the size in this movie with being able to shrink and grow larger with Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was just amazing, and I can't stress that if you want to see a great action scene or even a set of great action scenes, this is definitely the movie that you will spend a lot of time just watching it over and over again. Once the DVD, the Blu-ray comes out, or digital downloads, whatever, you'll spend a lot of time just watching the action scenes, and that is just truly one of the best things that I've actually seen this year when it comes to imagination itself. It may not be so the coolest thing ever, but the imagination behind it is what really drives this, and it's funny as well with the fight scenes. Not just, oh, look, something cool. There's thought and humor behind it, and I thoroughly enjoyed every moment of those. It's just crazy. The story itself, I feel this was a better story than Ant-Man. Why do I think that? Well, I think it was a lot more connected to the characters, where in the first one you had Hank Pym, Scott Lang, and Hope Van Dyne. And that was cool, that was really nice, but the villain kind of dragged it down just ever so slightly, whereas in this movie, everyone is connected and not just, oh, I'm going to meet this. Now, I guess that helps because it is a sequel. I definitely would say this movie is better than the first one overall, but there are some aspects such as the action and the story that definitely I feel are better. But I feel certain parts of the humor may have been better in the first movie. Who was my favorite character in this? To be fair, I've actually got two favorite characters. Now that is Luis, Michael Pena, and Ant-Man Scott Lang's daughter, whose name I actually can't remember because she just keeps getting referred to as Peanut. Those two characters are probably, well, not even probably, are definitely my favorite characters. Peanut, who I'm just gonna call her that, because she has a much bigger role and more significant role in this movie. Without giving away too much, she actually matters a lot to the trajectory of this movie. I can't say much more than that without spoiling anything, but I just love how funny she is as well, and how confident a character she is. She really brings a different kind of light to secondary characters, which I really, really enjoy. And Michael Pena, he is Luis. He's just funny. Like, anything he does is just super cool. Any movie. But in this one, his character, he's not just this background character. He plays a more important role as well. Not in the same way that Peanut does. Definitely not in the same way, but he is significant. And even Dave and Kurt, who are the the same ex-cons that you had in the first movie, T.I. and I can't remember the other dude's name, but they are... This whole movie is funny. This movie is definitely a comedy movie that is a superhero movie. And I think that's the route that a lot of movies, or rather the superhero movies, are going down, at least within Marvel anyway, because even if you look at Winter Soldier, that was a spy movie with superheroes. And Ant-Man was actually a heist movie dressed up as a superhero movie. And this one definitely takes that and kind of turns it on its head. It's not... I would put this more as a kind of... not a spy movie, but something along the lines of... I can't really pinpoint what the genre of this would be, and I would just say it's a comedy movie dressed up as a superhero. Nothing further than that, and it works so well. I can't really specify anything that I didn't like about this movie. There wasn't anything that made me go, "Oh, I don't like this." I guess there were certain parts of it where it was the plot made the character do this, as opposed to this character would do this type of thing. That happens a lot, I feel, with the villain in this. And speaking of the villain, okay, what I liked about her was her powers and the way they visually showed her powers. So she can phase in and out of things, well, not things, phase in and out of space, and the dimension that she's in basically is kind of how it works out. And when she's walking, you can see her kind of shifting, and then it seems like she's speeding up at certain points, like, so she'll be ahead, and then her physical body catches up with the silhouette, the dimension that she's in then, and it's just really cool. And that also factors into the fight scenes that you have with her, because again, with the getting smaller and the growing larger, and the fact that she can phase, there was a lot of things that they did with that, and adding more to the fight scenes, and those fight scenes with her added a more seriousness to it, which were just, I love that. It was amazing. But yes, action scenes, like I said, if you want to see something amazing, go check out this movie. Just watch it. It's wonderful. What else was there? Yeah, like her character in the terms of choices, and including the other ones, heroes as well, it just felt sometimes a little bit too forced, which, don't get me wrong, I get why plot points need to be done, but I think if a character's smart, the character should generally be smart all the time, unless the context says they don't know something, then that's cool. There are certain parts when a character was small or big or whatever, and they should have done the reverse of that, or they could have done the reverse of that, or in the villain's case, they were phasing and they didn't need to phase, or whatever the situation is. And I think that kind of only has a notch on it where it makes me say, okay, but it didn't really bring down the movie for me. So I'm absolutely fine with that. That's cool. Now, with the theme of still avoiding spoilers, there's a character in there by the name of Bill Foster, and I really loved that interaction. If you've seen the trailers, you know that what the interaction is with Hank Pym and Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne. That's one of the favorite things for me, because when I saw the trailer for it, it reminded me of the comics. And this is not a spoiler in any way, shape, or form, but in the comics, Bill Foster becomes Goliath, and I think his first title was Black Goliath, and this is one of those things that probably didn't go down too well in history, because it has some connotations, because it's Goliath and he's black and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, yes, and I really enjoyed the fact that they referenced that in there, which you'll find out about, again, in the trailer, not a spoiler. The acting as well, wow. I believe these characters. I believe Paul Rudd as Scott Lang. Admittedly, I haven't read much about Scott, because I'm not that much of an Ant-Man connoisseur, but I do like that character overall, and Hank Pym and what he's done on the terms of in Age of Ultron and so on. And with Scott Lang, he's a really cool character. I think acting-wise, my favorite character is probably going to be Janet Van Dyne. Evangeline Lilly, I believe is the actress' name. She's just super cool. She blows it out the water, man. She's crazy. It's just the amount of emotional range that she does in this movie is wonderful. And even Paul Rudd has one crazy moment, and I was laughing all the way through it, And speaking of laughing all the way through, this movie is hilarious. I saw some quick reviews on Instagram and Facebook and whatever, saying how it's the funniest Marvel movie ever, blah, blah, blah. I was like, okay, let me see this movie. And I saw it, and I was actually laughing all the way through. And one of the funniest Marvel movies I have ever seen was Thor Ragnarok, and that had me cracking up all the way through, and this movie has as well. I think I prefer the humor in this movie because it's a bit more relatable rather than, oh, that is funny. This one was a lot more grounded in something that you can relate to in that scenario. Like, what would you do, as opposed to, that was a funny line. In the same way that Korg was, is like he just said funny things. They had that comedic timing. Whereas this is, like I said, relatable, and that's absolutely cool. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So definitely, if you want humor, see this. If you want great action scenes, see it. In terms of what happens in the movie, the story is cool. Definitely worth the story visit. Would I see this movie in the cinema? Well, to be fair, I did see it in the cinema. I saw it at the multimedia screening because, like I said, we've gotten this movie late because of the World Cup, and I just don't care about the World Cup, and it annoyed me that we were getting the movie late. But anyway, that is besides the point. I've seen it. This movie comes out in the UK on August 2nd. Definitely go see this movie in any way, shape, or form. I saw it in the Cineworld in Leicester Square in the IMAX. It's beautiful. If you can't see it in IMAX, because it just improves the viewing pleasure, I think would be the right phrase to say. So a final note. The end credits scene. There's two of them. Well, there's the mid credits and the end credits. Mid credits scene, absolutely amazing. Just amazing. It's cool. End credits scene, it's a funny nod towards the movie. Personally, I don't feel you need to stay to watch it. But if you want to, it's okay if you want to get that nice piece of humor. But the mid credits, worth it. After that, you can let the people in the cinema go clean up after you. If that's what you do. Cool. Anyway, let me know what you guys think of this movie. If you've seen it already, if you're over in America or wherever they've had it before. I think Australia may have it as well now. I'm not sure. Or when you do see the movie when it comes out and you come back, tell me what you think of the movie. Do you agree with my review? Who do you want to see in the next Avengers movie? Like, what character do you want to see? Who do you want to see pop up in Captain Marvel as well, as that is the next Marvel movie? If you enjoyed my review, or just you enjoy my movies. I mean, my movies, my videos. I mean, that's really cool. If you didn't, I'd prefer if you didn't leave a dislike, but everyone has their own opinions. Also, hit the subscribe button because that's cool. It shows your support, and notification bell also further shows that support and lets you know when I'm doing videos. I do videos weekly. Also, quick side note. I have stuff on Instagram when I post videos on IGTV with a little behind the scenes. My Minute Mayhem review is also on there. On the normal Instagram where you just post the pictures, I do reviews of things in 1 minute. It's quite interesting. It's unfiltered type of stuff in 1 minute. That's why it's called Minute Mayhem Review. On IGTV, I've got Minute Mayhem Review Unfiltered, which is an extension of my reviews on that when I'm just there talking about it. So if you want to see those type of things, how I managed to get this set up and all that kind of stuff, go check that out for those behind the scenes views and my reviews that are just snapshot, just done like that. Or just a bit more of like, my comics that I actually do more so than what I do on YouTube. Check that out. Let me know what you guys think. There is a link in the description box below for those as well. Guys, still don't have a sign off yet. So, peace.